Dojir snorted coldly and said, "You really lack respect for me." So the clone was suppressed in the outer starry sky. Those people truly have many schemes. The martial emperor's expression suddenly changed, and his eyes immediately fell upon Jiang Yishu. He hurriedly stepped forward to bow, respectfully saying, "So it turns out Lord Jiang Yishu has arrived. Why did you not inform this humble one to prepare a welcome?" Jiang Yishu glanced at him indifferently, waved his hand, and said, "It's nothing. Move aside. This area is currently under the jurisdiction of Lord Dojir." The martial emperor stared blankly at the unfamiliar and strange Dojir, then reluctantly replied, "Understood." A cold light flashed in Dojir's eyes as he scrutinized Lai Yingxiao's body from head to toe. The more he looked, the more satisfied he became. Saying, "I must thank you for cultivating my body so well. Now it's time to return it." Lai Yingxiao, despite being stared at, remained calm and replied, "I'll introduce you to someone named Bartan Martial Emperor Ao Changkun. He possesses the undying golden body. I guarantee he will suit your taste." Dojir frowned and said, "I have encountered that person in my memories. He was the leader of the previous 10 martial emperors, but he only deserves to be a high-grade spare part, while you are my temporary spare part." They laughed coldly and added, "I know you are difficult, but where do you think you can run now?" Lai Yingxiao smiled and replied, "Naturally, even when facing death, one must struggle. I am also very interested in your situation. This berry bone ground must be suppressing another one of your clones. Were you planning to release him and merge with the great demons to form a single entity?" The martial emperor felt dizzy listening to the two talking, experiencing an indescribable strangeness. Fortunately, Jiang Yishu and Cheng Hanyu were both here, so even if the sky collapsed, there were people to support it. Dojir's eyes narrowed as he said coldly, "You know quite a bit about me. Merging into one entity is indeed the goal. I must absorb everything to form a complete body and restore peak power and all memories." Lai Yingxiao pondered this, then asked, "How many clones do you have, and where are they suppressed?" Dojir snorted coldly in reply, "That is also what I want to know. In the past, those shameless people indecently dismembered me and suppressed me." Lai Yingxiao intended to ask more, but Dojir lost patience, waved his hand, and said, "Once I take possession of your body, I will naturally find the answers myself. You should feel honored when the time comes." Jiang Yishu shouted, "Attack, but do not destroy his physical body." Then, Tish, along with Wai Kaijin and Huiyin, rushed forward. The three formed a triangular formation to surround Lai Yingxiao, demonic energy surging from their bodies and filling the sky. Lai Yingxiao frowned slightly, his heart shaken, knowing they had been demonized. He immediately summoned the World God Monument. The space outside the monument flashed brightly, and Zairochuan and Helian Chaerhuang appeared, simultaneously repelling the three individuals led by Jiang Yishu. It truly is a holy artifact, Dojir thought inwardly, his pupils constricting. No wonder I find it familiar. It isn't clear which clone brought back this memory. Truly hateful. All the martial artists in the 7th district were stunned by the sight before them. This profound artifact could actually create something from nothing and directly release living people. Could this jade monument be a supreme profound artifact? Everyone stared blankly for a moment. The martial emperor expert shouted loudly. Everyone charged together to assist Lord Jiang in capturing the person. Zairochuan narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice, "Leave these three to me. You deal with the small fry outside." Helian Chaerhuang snorted lightly and asked, "Your injury just healed, and you already want to act like a hero?" Zairochuan angrily shouted, "Shut up," and charged forward. He made the first move, his right hand transforming into a sword. The powerful slash descended, unleashing extremely strong spirit pressure that spread in all directions, making the sky suddenly feel heavy. On Helian Chaerhuang's side, this energy surged. Every punch he threw shattered the air, causing the space to shake violently. They're all, Heaven Demon, quelling sword has appeared. Dojir noted, his pupils slightly constricted as he stared at Zairochuan. All demons tremble before it. He truly uses his body as a sword, utilizing his physical form as a sheath to nourish the precious sword. No wonder the sword's might is so strong. The aura on the sword is the primal case vastness energy that repels demons, which happens to perfectly counter their demonic energy. He looked over at Helian Chaerhuang, frowned, and said, "The undying fist intent, the single punch shatters 10,000 techniques. Where exactly did you pull out so many troublesome individuals from?" Dojir turned his eyes to Lai Yingxiao, who was still standing aside, and said, "It looks like you intend to deal with me yourself." Lai Yingxiao's expression remained unchanged as he coldly replied, "If I can release you, then I can suppress you again." Dojir burst into echoing laughter. "You are truly seeking death. If you are so eager to offer your body like this, then I will conveniently take it." Dojir's figure suddenly transformed into a black streak of light, enveloping Lai Yingxiao in front of him in a blink of an eye. Lai Yingxiao moved slightly, raising one hand. He unleashed a move called the Rolling Wind Cloud Palm, intending to suppress the surging demonic energy. Dojir coldly reminded him, demonic energy can be broken, but it absolutely cannot be destroyed. Upon hearing this, Lai Yingxiao's heart trembled slightly. Looking at the demonic energy before him, it indeed did not waver. Even the great rolling wind cloud palm was completely corroded. The black streak gathered once more, surging like a crazy tide as it rushed straight towards Lai Yingxiao. His eyes suddenly changed color as he softly shouted, "Pupil technique, dark night." The space suddenly thickened, and it felt as though countless birds were chirping right beside his ears. Liang Xiao's body transformed into a piece of dry wood stuck in the earth, desolate and without a trace of vitality. The black streak smashed into the dry wood stump, but failing to find a target, they wandered around blankly. It seemed to have lost all direction and finally dispersed quietly. Dejir saw the divine body transformation on Liang Xiao, clap his hands, and praised with a laugh, "Excellent, excellent. You used an eye technique to conceal your consciousness to avoid demonic energy contamination, then activated your divine body, which has a purifying effect, to prevent the demonic energy from eroding your physical body. Such meticulous planning. Unfortunately, you were still half a beat slower than me." Before he finished speaking, Liang Xiao's eyes gradually turned black. Narrow patterns appeared, clearly indicating that the demonic energy had taken the opportunity to enter. Dejir smirked, having activated the eye technique in that instant. The weakest point is precisely those eyes. Liang Xiao's face was pale, and he covered his left eye with one hand. Yet the corner of his mouth curved up meaningfully. The sight caused Dejir's heart to sink. Liang Xiao opened his eyes again. His pupils were back to normal, but reflected a glittering tear. He slowly said, "You've already mentioned that. Did you think I wouldn't have known this beforehand?" Dejir's pupils trembled. He stared intently into Liang Xiao's eyes and uttered in a low voice, "The dragon tear." Liang Xiao nodded. "Indeed, a true dragoness tear, perfectly suited to nourish my eyes. Dejir, I advise you to give up on this idea. If you persist, you will only bring disaster upon yourself. Also, let me clarify, you don't need to waste effort trying to erode me with demonic energy alone." Liang Xiao's body suddenly turned dark red. Even his physical body showed pitch black demonic patterns. He directly demonized. His appearance ate, tense similar to Dejir's, and laughed aloud, saying, "Because for this young master, demonization is easier than eating." Dejir's body trembled as he uttered in shock, "You have actually demonized. How can this be?" Ridicule flashed in Liang Xiao's eyes as he smiled and replied, "This isn't my first time demonizing. This level can even erase my divine consciousness. Furthermore, I only allowed your demonic energy to enter because demonization enhances my strength. Did you truly think that tiny bit of demonic energy could harm me?" Liang Xiao's face showed ridicule, while inwardly he rejoiced. As expected, the cultivation technique on that jade's lip helps me control demonization. I truly found a treasure. Dejir's jaw dropped open, and his eyes looked as if they were about to pop out. His expression became extremely serious as he spoke each word in a cold voice. "You can actually control demonization. I absolutely cannot let you live." Liang Xiao laughed coldly and replied, "Stop trying to scare me. You won't be able to keep me here." After a moment of astonishment, Dejir immediately composed himself and smiled faintly, saying, "You overestimate yourself. In front of me, even extraordinary geniuses are just like ants." The demonic energy on his body flared up again. The three people including Jan Yushu suddenly changed expression, and their bodies began to transform violently. They transformed into hovering monsters brandishing fangs and claws, their strength surging. Even the martial artists watching nearby were successively demonized. "This time things have really blown up," Pelian Chao once said with a mix of surprise and laughter. "Zara Chuan, how should we split them this time?" Mo Zara Chuan coldly replied, "I'll take the two strongest ones. The remaining scum are yours." In the blink of an eye, the entire sky was filled with transformed demons and monsters. "Only Hurrian remain and change," Dejir said in surprise. "Thor, you still carry a fire seed anomaly that prevents transformation. Well, a slave who dies after demonizing is useless anyway. Keeping one person around is fine too." Liang Xiao's face darkened as he spoke coldly. "Dejir, do you really want to cause such a commotion? Aren't you afraid the disturbance will be too great, attracting experts from all directions to surround and kill you?" Dejir laughed scornfully. "Surround and kill me? You are truly too naive. In this perilous place, a sealing barrier formation has long been set up. Even if people outside fought until the sky fell and the earth split, they wouldn't necessarily sense anything. Let me remind you not to miss out on the spectacular parts, where you will all regret it immensely." As soon as the two northern sky cold star swords appeared, the sky immediately changed color, black clouds gathered densely, and lightning intertwined like dancing snakes. Dejir shivered slightly and then said with a serious expression, "Were you trying to attract the lightning tribulation?" Liang Xiao smiled faintly and replied, "Exactly, the lightning tribulation of her ninth rank profound artifact, with two paths descending together. Try to guess if all the martial artists in the Berry Bones land will be alarmed or not." Dejir's expression flashed with anger as he replied in an icy voice, "Do you think I will let you live until then? Everyone charge at me." The old emperor shouted loudly. Demons from all directions simultaneously bared their fangs and brandished their claws, transforming into streaks of black light and charging forward. In an instant, shadows filled the sky. "Just a bunch of small fries. Suppress them all for me." Liang Xiao calmly shouted softly. From between his eyebrows, the boundary god steel suddenly flew out. 4 streams of realm power simultaneously opened, with earth, water, fire, and wind surging in all directions, as if to swallow all the demons within. The old emperor's expression changed dramatically as he cried out in surprise. That is world power, with cultivation as close to trash as yours. How can you activate such complete world power? One only saw the distinctly separated world power surging from the boundary god steel, with intense black light flashing densely across the sky. The demons who charged first were all completely sucked inside, leaving not a single shadow behind. The old emperor's face was gloomy like stagnant water as he murmured to himself, could it be that he has opened the four great realms, forming a distinct world of his own? The name boundary god steel sounds strangely familiar, yet for a moment, I couldn't recall its origin. Forget it, the old emperor sneered, since these lackeys are no longer useful, then let them use their last remaining strengths. As he willed it, he took control. The minions who had turned into demons suddenly had their aura increase exponentially, their bodies continuously swelling. It was clear they were preparing to self-destruct. Liu Xiao's expression also changed slightly upon seeing the scene. The bodies of those minions were stretched to their limit, fiercely charging directly into the world power of the boundary god steel. All of them transformed into exploding demonic energy in mid-air, leaving absolutely no remnants behind. Mo Xiaochuan and Helian Chairwan, who were fighting, were immediately jolted and thrown back, with fresh blood seeping from all 7 of their apertures. Liu Xiao waved his hand, grabbing the 2 of them, and said anxiously, quickly enter the boundary god steel. The lightning tribulation is about to descend. They looked up at the sky. At this point, the thunder and lightning had gathered into layers, and its momentum grew more terrifying by the moment. Liu Xiao looked at the old emperor, tearing, why haven't you run away? The old emperor replied calmly, I do want to run, but I want even more to stay and watch how you withstand the lightning tribulation, and whether you can endure it. HMPH, you want to probe how many trump cards I have left? Fine then, if you want to wash, open your eyes wide and look carefully. Liu Xiao's face was pale as he looked up at the high sky. Although the heavenly might had not truly descended yet, its sheer momentum caused people's hearts to pound rapidly. The thunder finally struck down. The heavenly tribulation power of the 2 profound artifacts merged into one, surging boundlessly straight toward Liu Xiao. A layer of hazy demonic barrier appeared in front of the old emperor, isolating the lightning tribulation outside. He observed everything coldly. Although his 6-path demonic soldiers were currently only condensed into illusions, they still had more than enough strength to withstand a small lightning tribulation. Within the continuously flashing lightning screen, Liu Xiao's figure gradually became clear. The old emperor narrowed his eyes and watched intently. One only saw that at this moment, his body had transformed into lightning, directly accepting the refinement of the lightning tribulation. His undying golden body frantically absorbed the lightning and converted it into energy, integrating it into his body. Furthermore, his elemental power also merged into the heavenly tribulation lightning, continuously being tempered along with those 2 profound artifacts. Upon realizing this point, the old emperor's expression immediately sank. The sky truly his guts, daring to use the lightning to refine his physical body as if roasting beans. Before long, a crowd of martial artists flocked towards this location. The power of the lightning was so ferocious that it made people's hair stand on end. Furthermore, many recognized that this was a profound artifact lightning tribulation, causing greed to flash in everyone's eyes. Seeing the crowd gather increasingly densely, the old emperor's face darkened like the sky before rain as he spoke in a cold voice. This place will probably turn into a chaotic market soon. I will temporarily spare you this time. He glanced coldly at Liu Xiao. Then his body suddenly transformed into a wisp of black mist, sweeping up Hurien and leading the scene. Liu Xiao opened his mouth wide and finally spat out a mouthful of bright red blood. Everyone looked at the level of destruction here. The power of the thunder tribulation was so tyrannical that it must have been rank 9 without a doubt. A rank 9 artificer was actually here refining artifacts. It is truly astonishing. What a pity we arrived a step too late. A rank 9 artificer is like a divine dragon wherever they go. Yet they chose the Siri burial ground. In an instant, over 10 people gathered, each with a different expression. Liu Xiao sensed more than 10 streaks of light rushing through the wind, muttering to himself, I wonder if the Zhu Yan was startled by all this commotion. Seeing the people from Blood God Palace also arrive, Liu Xiao activated his invisibility technique. His eyes grew cold as he muttered, Cao Yaxing and Blood God Sun, I still haven't settled the score for injuring my Xiaochuan. The Blood God Sun hovered in mid-air, coldly observing the area below. He said in a deep voice, I sense the celestial master giant ruler nearby, but I can pinpoint the location. Beside him was Cao Yaxing, his most favored disciple, who asked confusedly, so that Blood Beast is also lurking around here. The Blood God Sun's eyes darted around as he replied, that's right, the celestial master giant ruler is spiritually connected to me, but for some unknown reason, I can lock onto its specific location. Look there, it's a rank 9 profound artifact. A shout suddenly echoed from the crowd below. The guy picked up the profound artifact and is trying to run away. Stop him. All eyes immediately followed the shout, only to see a group of martial artists joining forces to surround and attack one person. In just a moment, the person was beaten into a pulp, causing their storage artifact to burst open. Primordial stones, elixirs, and various other profound artifacts scattered everywhere. When Zhang Huishu's ethereal stealing limitless fan was snatched away, the blood god son was suddenly shocked. He recognized the fan at a glance. Profound artifact linked to the mind becoming ownless meant that Zhang Huishu had clearly lost his life. The blood god son took the fan into his hand. Cao Yaxing looked at the group of martial artists with dissatisfaction. He said coldly, "Any treasure excavated from this burial ground must be given priority to sell to my blood god palace. That has been the rule all along. Surely none of you have forgotten." The entire group immediately fell silent before the dominant power of the blood god palace. Though one day to object, holding the ethereal stealing limitless fan, the blood god son's eyes were filled with complex emotions. If Zhang Yishu died, Hanyu City wouldn't he hold him accountable anymore? However, Zhang Yishu's strength was extremely powerful, and he possessed a rank 9 profound artifact, the mysterious old emperor, and 2 of the 4 star martial emperors, who exactly had the ability to kill all of them. While deep in thought, a streak of light flashed across the sky. Su Yan's eyes immediately focused on the fan in his hand. The person who arrived was none other than Sacred Domain's Su Yan. He felt extremely frustrated in his heart. He really should have hidden his fan first. This time, it seemed he wouldn't get a share of it. He quickly stepped forward and said, "Lord Zhu Yan, this is indeed Lord Zhang Yuishu's ethereal stealing limitless fan. I came to investigate after seeing the thunder tribulation descend, and unexpectedly found this. Judging by the remaining ore, I am afraid Lord Zhang Yuishu met with disaster." Zhu Yan's eyes clearly revealed a shock that was hard to conceal. Su Yan's hand holding the fan trembled slightly as he angrily asked, "Who caused this?" The blood god son replied, "I don't know yet and need more time to investigate, but it might be related to the thunder tribulation that just occurred." Su Yan's expression was cold as ice as he said, "The previous thunder tribulation was indeed a rank 9 profound artifact S tribulation. There's no mistake about that. However, a single rank 9 tribulation alone could hardly cause this level of destruction, much less kill Zhang Yuishu. What exactly happened here?" No one could answer that question. Looking at the chaotic crowd below and those continuously arriving, Su Yan showed an expression of annoyance. He told the blood god son, "Immediately seal this area. For 1,000 miles around, no one is allowed to enter or leave. Apprehend everyone here. I will deal with them after I investigate thoroughly." Su Yan looked down below, saw light flickering in his eyes. He suddenly said, "Blood god son, you lead as well. Guard outside the forbidden area. Master UNC will arrive soon. Tell them to wait for me outside the barrier. I want to investigate this place myself." The blood god son stared in surprise and hesitated, saying, "I am uneasy with you staying here alone. Great Lord, how about I remain here with you?" Su Yan replied, "No need. The combatants have all left. I need to use a secret technique to investigate, and it's inconvenient for others to observe." Only then did the blood god son say, "In that case, please be cautious. Great Lord, if anything happens, please send a message immediately, and I will return as quickly as possible." After expressing his loyalty, he transformed into a streak of blood, red light and left the area. Su Yan watched until his silhouette completely disappeared before raising a single finger. He drew an array formation, sealing off a 10 radius around him, then spoke coldly, "The person who just sent me the voice transmission, you can come out now." Continue. Lord Zhu Yan is indeed more courageous than ordinary people. The voice filled with admiration rang out. Immediately afterward, Lai Yingxiao's figure emerged from the rubble, a faint smile on his lips. He slowly recited, "A harf moves for a pond, a mirror opens wide, the heavenly light and cloud shadows linger, asking where the water's clarity comes from. It's because living water flows from the source." Zhu Yan was startled. Lai Yingxiao's recitation seemed to point directly at the profound principles of his array technique. He couldn't perceive the depth of this individual at all, making him feel a strange sense of unease and giving him goosebumps. "You're also an artificer?" Su Yan frowned, sensing the spiritual power fluctuations coming from him. "How is it that I have no memory of you? Were you the descendant of some old acquaintance?" Lai Yingxiao smiled and replied, "Who I am isn't important. What's important is that the words I am about to speak can shake the entire continent." Su Yan said coldly, "I don't even know who you are. How can I believe if your words are true or false?" Lai Yingxiao smiled, his gaze falling on the object in Zhu Yan's hand. He said, "You can decide for yourself if it's true or false. The owner of the fan you are holding has already met his end." Zhu Yan's hand tightened around the ethereal stealing limitless fan. His voice sank as he said, "Alright. I'll listen to you discuss this important matter first. If you fail to satisfy me, don't blame me for using my strength to bully you." Lai Van Teru nodded slightly and said, "Several points of the 7 great seals on the dragon transformation pool have already been broken." H letter 1E9 a DI letter 1EC5M was immediately shaken to his core. Spiritual power, seemingly materialized, spread out and enveloped Lai Van Teru. He slowly enunciated each word. "How do you know about the dragon transformation pool and the 7 great seals?" Lai Van Teru chuckled and praised, "The head of the UNC Holy Domain is indeed cautious. Locking down the spiritual space not only prevents me from escaping but also cuts off eavesdropping from outside. You act cautious, yet you have actually begun to believe my words." H letter 1E9 a DI letter 1EC5M gave a cold laugh and said, then let me see what nonsense you intend to spout next. Lai Van Teru looked directly into the other person's eyes and slowly said each word. Sealed beneath the dragon transformation pool is an ancient great demon. Releasing it will cause an unprecedented catastrophe large enough to engulf the entire continent. H letter 1E9 a DI letter 1EC5M froze for a moment upon hearing this, then burst into laughter, scornfully saying, Child's play, who told you there's a great demon beneath the dragon transformation pool? I know this place better than you do. Despite the mockery, Lai Van Teru did not get angry. He just smiled slightly and said, Flaps, but the owner of the fan in your hand was killed by a great demon. H letter 1E9 a DI letter 1EC5M stared blankly for a moment, looked down at the folding fan in his hand, and his expression gradually darkened. He truly felt a demonic aura emanating from it. He said in a low voice, do you mean a great demon has already escaped, and even killed Qing H letter 1ED9 I Thu? Lai Van Teru nodded and said, the one who killed Qing H letter 1ED9 I Thu is not the great demon sealed below, but his objective is to open all the seals and release the great demon beneath. He said in a low voice, then hurry and tell me, exactly how many of the 7 seals have been opened already.